The US feels different these days. Prices are climbing, tempers are shorter, and it's starting to feel like the system was built to keep you working harder just to stay in the same place. But here's the secret: most people don't realize you don't have to play that game anymore. Because right now there are countries where Americans can move almost instantly. No income proof, no long visa process, no bureaucratic maze, just sunshine, safety, and a simpler way of life. Imagine waking up to the sound of waves instead of traffic. Breakfast that costs $2, not 20. And neighbors who actually know your name. That life is real, and it's closer than you think. Pack your bags, because today we're uncovering the 3 easiest countries Americans can move to in 2025, places where freedom feels natural, time slows down, and the number one pick at the end might just change how you see life forever. Welcome to Discover Globe Places Top 10. Your guide to living better, spending less, and finding real peace in a world that's lost its balance. If you believe life should be more about experiences than expenses, you're in the right place. Over 80% of people watching right now still aren't subscribed, so go ahead, hit that button. It's free, and it helps us keep bringing you true stories, real data, and the most inspiring places on Earth to start over. All right. Ready to find your new home? Let's go. 3. Vietnam, where life costs less, but somehow feels richer. For many Americans, it's one of the easiest countries in Asia to start fresh. The process is almost effortless. You apply for an e-visa online, it takes about 10 minutes, costs only $25, and within a few days you're approved for a 30-day stay. That's it. No embassy visits, no stacks of paperwork, no waiting months for approval. And once you're in, you can extend it up to 90 days, or simply take a quick trip to Thailand, Cambodia, or Laos, then come right back to renew. For anyone craving a longer life abroad, Vietnam offers flexible business and retirement visas, 2 simple sponsorships, minimal requirements, and no need to prove income for your initial entry. All you need is a passport and an onward ticket, and you're free to begin your new chapter. Then comes the best part: how far your dollar actually goes. Rent for a 1-bedroom apartment outside the city center, around $250 to $400 a month. A full meal at a local restaurant, $1 to $3. A strong cup of Vietnamese coffee, arguably the best in the world, costs about $1. Utilities and high-speed internet together average just $50 to $70 a month. Add it all up and you're living comfortably on $700 to $900 per person. Imagine a beach apartment in Da Nang balcony, open to the sea breeze, all for $350 a month. In most American cities, that wouldn't even cover your utilities. But Vietnam isn't just about saving money, it's about feeling alive again. The moment you step onto the streets, you feel the rhythm, the hum of motorbikes, the laughter from sidewalk cafes, the smell of fresh pho and sizzling spring rolls. People wave at you, smile without hesitation, ask where you're from. There's an energy here, young, optimistic, and warm, that's hard to describe until you feel it for yourself. In Hanoi, history whispers from French-era buildings and lakeside temples. In Ho Chi Minh City, modern skyscrapers rise above street vendors and night markets. And in Da Nang, or Nha Trang, you get those golden beaches where expats gather each morning for coffee by the water, barefoot and unhurried. English is widely spoken in major cities, especially among the younger generation. Healthcare is surprisingly reliable and inexpensive. You can walk into a private clinic, see an English-speaking doctor, and pay $30 for a consultation. Fast internet and endless co-working spaces make it ideal for freelancers and digital nomads, while retirees appreciate how easy it is to build community here. You'll find meetups, language exchanges, charity projects, and even beachfront yoga classes where locals and foreigners mix like old friends. Everything moves at its own pace, a slower, calmer rhythm that still somehow feels full of life. Vietnam doesn't demand that you keep up. It simply opens its arms and says, "Welcome. Take your time. In Vietnam, life doesn't rush you, it invites you. 2. Ecuador, where the dollar still matters, and your money finally buys you peace. For Americans, moving here is refreshingly simple. You can stay for 90 days, visa-free, and if you fall in love with the country, as many do, you can easily extend that to 180 days a year. The process is straightforward, transparent, and stress-free. And for those ready to make Ecuador home, the country offers one of the most welcoming retirement visas in the world. The Pensionado visa only requires proof of about $1,350 per month. In income, your Social Security check already qualifies. After 21 months of holding it, you can even apply for permanent residency, giving you the freedom to settle in for good without jumping through endless bureaucratic hoops. Once you arrive, the numbers speak for themselves. You can rent a comfortable one-bedroom apartment in Cuenca, one of the most charming cities in South America, for $350 to $450 per month. Utilities and internet add about $70. Meals are delightfully affordable, $3 to $6 for a hearty local plate of chicken rice and fresh juice, or $12 if you want to dine out somewhere fancy with live music and wine. Private health insurance. Around $60 per month, and that includes visits to modern hospitals where many doctors were trained in the United States. Altogether, most single expats live comfortably on $900 to $100 a month, often with money left over for weekend trips or Spanish lessons. Ecuador's magic lies in its variety. Within a few hours, by bus or car, you can shift from the crisp air of the Andes to the warm sands of the Pacific coast or the dense green heartbeat of the Amazon. It's one of the few countries in the world where you can sip coffee beside snow-capped mountains in the morning and watch the sunset over the ocean that same evening. The landscapes change, but the people remain the same, warm, grounded, and proud of their country's natural beauty. Another reason Americans feel so at ease here is that Ecuador uses the US dollar as its national currency. There's no exchange rate to worry about, no confusion at the ATM, and prices are familiar, just much lower than back home. You'll find modern infrastructure, clean streets, and surprisingly good public transport, especially in cities like Cuenca and Quito. Healthcare is exceptional for what you pay. A dental cleaning costs around $20, and medication prices are a fraction of what they are in the United States. Life here feels slower, not because people are lazy, but because they've mastered balance. In the afternoons, shopkeepers take a break, families gather for lunch, and plazas fill with laughter instead of traffic noise. The crime rate in smaller cities is low, and locals tend to look out for one another. There's a strong sense of community that welcomes newcomers naturally, not out of politeness, but out of genuine curiosity and care. If you're wondering where to start, Cuenca is a top choice, a colonial gem surrounded by mountains, cool year-round, weather, cobblestone streets, and one of the most established expat communities in Latin America. For a quieter, more artistic vibe, Loja offers tranquility and a creative spirit, with music festivals and galleries hidden in small alleys. And if the ocean calls your name, Salinas on the Pacific coast delivers that breezy resort lifestyle with seafood markets, golden beaches, and ocean view apartments that won't break your budget. Ecuador isn't about escaping life, it's about rediscovering it. Here the air feels lighter, conversations feel longer, and somehow every sunset feels earned. It's the kind of place where the little things, a smile from your neighbor, a $2 lunch that tastes like home, the hum of the city at dusk remind you why you came in the first place. In Ecuador, you don't escape life, you rediscover it. 1. Serbia, Europe's most underrated haven, where life feels effortlessly balanced. No visa, no fuss, no nonsense. For Americans, entering Serbia couldn't be easier. You can stay 90 days visa-free, no forms, no embassy visits, just land and live. And if you decide to stay longer, the process is refreshingly simple. Apply for a temporary residence permit. Bring your rental contract and proof of health insurance, and within a few weeks, you're approved. There's no income threshold, no endless waiting, and no prove you're rich enough to be here attitude. Serbia quietly opens the door and lets you breathe something rare in today's Europe, where red tape has become a way of life. Once you settle in, you'll wonder why more people haven't discovered this place yet. In the capital Belgrade, you can rent a bright, modern one-bedroom apartment for around $400 to $550 a month. Meals at local restaurants cost $5 to $8, and a cup of strong Balkan coffee, rich, earthy, and served slowly, is about $1.50. For most expats, a comfortable monthly budget of $900 to $1,200 covers rent, food, transit, and even the occasional weekend trip to the Adriatic coast or nearby Budapest. It's Europe, but without the inflated prices, the crowds, or the feeling of being rushed. And it's not just cheap, it's charming. Serbia has that old-world European beauty that feels both elegant and unpolished in the best way. The architecture blends Austro-Hungarian detail with a touch of Ottoman flair, giving every street corner a sense of layered history. Cobblestone alleys lead to open squares filled with laughter buskers and cafe terraces that seem to never close. Life here happens outside, over espresso, over conversation, and often over a glass of local rakia, the fruit brandy that seems to accompany every celebration and every new friendship. The people are what makes Serbia unforgettable. They're proud, direct, and disarmingly kind. It's the kind of place where your barista remembers your order after 2 days, where neighbors bring you soup when you're sick, and where a conversation about music can turn into a dinner invitation. For Americans used to fast-paced anonymity, that warmth can feel like rediscovering humanity itself. And despite its small size, Serbia has one of Europe's most vibrant cafe cultures. Belgrade alone has thousands of coffee houses, each with its own personality. You'll see students studying, retirees reading newspapers, and couples quietly watching the world pass by. Beyond the cities, Serbia offers 4 distinct seasons: golden autumns, mild winters, green springs, and sun-drenched summers. You can hike forested mountains, wander vineyards, or visit medieval monasteries that have stood for centuries. Public health care is reliable and inexpensive, and private clinics are accessible even for expats without insurance plans. The rhythm of life feels slower here, not lazy, but peaceful. People value family dinners, evening walks, and time with friends more than status or possessions. Serbia also benefits from being outside the European Union, which means it avoids many of the restrictions and high costs that weigh down neighboring countries. It's affordable, free-spirited, and surprisingly open to foreigners. Renewing your stay is as simple as crossing a nearby border for a weekend and returning. And as more remote workers and retirees discover this hidden gem, small expat communities are growing, sharing resources, opening cafes, and blending effortlessly into local life. If you're looking for a city with soul, Belgrade is where it all begins. The capital is alive day and night, with riverfront bars, open-air markets, and architecture that tells stories from every century. For something softer, Novi Sad offers a slower rhythm, perched along the Danube River, famous for its music festivals and cultural events. And if you want affordability above all, Nice delivers a laid-back student atmosphere and some of the best food in the Balkans. Serbia feels like Europe before it got crowded, beautiful, but real, historic, yet hopeful, elegant, without the ego. It's not trying to impress anyone. It simply is. And maybe that's what makes it so easy to love. There you have it, 3 countries where Americans can move right now. Vietnam, where tropical calm meets low costs and warm smiles on every corner. Ecuador, where mountains touch the sky and the US dollar still buys peace of mind. Serbia, where Europe still feels authentic, beautiful, and human, without the chaos or the price tag. In a world that's getting noisier, faster, and harder to recognize these places, remind us of something simple, that happiness was never meant to be complicated. You don't need endless paperwork, fancy titles, or approval from anyone. Sometimes all you need is the courage to start over. Because maybe peace isn't something you find, maybe it's something you create, when you finally give yourself permission to live differently. To wake up to the sound of waves, to walk down quiet streets, where people still say hello, to feel time slow down and realize you haven't lost anything. You've finally found everything that matters. If this video spoke to you, hit like, subscribe to Discover Globe Places Top 10. Your next chapter isn't a fantasy, it's real. It's waiting somewhere across the ocean under a different sky where life begins again the moment you decide to go.